The only thing more entertaining than the NBA Finals is the different trade rumors and trade reports that are coming through, because honestly, I have to be truthful with you guys, this seems a bit insane. As a writer reveals a blockbuster trade that could possibly land a former Georgia resident back at home with the Atlanta Hawks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to explain to you who that person is, what team they could possibly be leaving, and what the situation is there, as well as whether or not it is conducive for the Atlanta Hawks to possibly pursue this different trade or whatnot, or this trade rumor or whatnot. I would give you guys better insight as far as if that is something that is feasible for the Atlanta Hawks, or if that is something that the Atlanta Hawks might want to dabble in, because of course everybody's eye is on the Atlanta Hawks. As we all know, we have a budding group of young guys that could possibly make a push for an NBA title within the next couple of years. So you definitely want to keep an eye out as far as who could possibly be staying or who could be leaving. But before we go any further, let's welcome in the show. My name is Walter Pollard, and this is Atlanta Hawks Digest. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Now, there are more trade rumors that are circulating, of course, because there's a writer that has revealed a blockbuster trade that definitely involves the Atlanta Hawks. And let's not forget, you know that there are different aprons to the trade I guess world now. You know, there are different there's a different apron to it. So, of course, you're going to see more three-team trades. You're going to see more teams wanting to get in on certain trades, not necessarily to land a big fish, but more so to help themselves become more competitive in the next coming years. Now, of course, you've heard different trade rumors with the Atlanta Hawks. You've heard the Giannis Antetokounmpos. You've heard the Kevin Durant's. You've heard all of the different trade rumors that have come around. And so this is just yet another trade rumor. So, of course, you definitely want to point that out. But with all of that, it definitely makes sense that the Atlanta Hawks are in position to do something to get themselves into a better position. Now, before I go any further, I definitely got to talk to you guys about our streams and people that have been watching. Of course, 64% of you guys are not subscribed. We do appreciate you guys for viewing our content. Definitely continue to do so. We definitely do appreciate it. Myself, Chris, Tip Moore, and everybody over at Digest Media. Also, too, something that I did not notice. Hey, we are at 171 subscribers, and that's with 175 videos. Me and my man Chris have been doing some crazy work. But what I ask is that before the start of the NBA season, before the start of the next NBA season, I know this season hasn't ended yet, but of course we still got the draft coming up. We got free agency coming up. We've got we got summer leagues coming up, and then all of that stuff going on. So definitely we want to see if you guys can definitely join in with the crew. We want to get the subscribers numbers up as much as possible. We definitely appreciate all of you guys and all of that stuff. Now let's get into it. Shams, my man Shams, I definitely love it when he comes through reports, because he definitely gives us, you know, I think we had the Woj bomb before, but now I don't know if we have a name for Shams or whatnot. But Shams has definitely come out, and he has said that the Celtics are willing to listen to trade offers for Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Now, that means a lot, because, let me get this out of the way, because that answers a lot of questions when we say that there are more trade rumors. And you heard earlier in my, intro, I guess, when I was talking about that there's a possibility that a former Georgia resident will be returning back to the Atlanta Hawks. So, of course, it is rumored that Jaylen Brown is being possibly looked at as far as somebody that could possibly come to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, my question to you guys, would you all like to see Jaylen Brown joining up with Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks to possibly make a push? My honest opinion, no. And that's not any slight to Jaylen Brown. That's not any slight to the Boston Celtics or the Atlanta Hawks. But I feel as though Jaylen Brown is too good of a player, honestly, Not saying that he's too good to come to the Atlanta Hawks, but for what he would cost, it would be crazy. Now, let me go ahead and paint the picture here. Now, the Boston Celtics, first of all, they had somewhat of a disappointing season. Okay, they had just come off of a championship run. They finally got their championship back in 2024, and this year they were supposed to run it back. No one expected for the Pacers to be in the position that they're in, but more power to you. As a matter of fact, give you guys a hand clap, and shouts out to all of you guys there. But they're having a disappointing season, and not only that, they have a lot of people to pay. Okay, we just talked about Derek White and Jaylen Brown. We also have Kristaps Porzingis. We still have Jason Tatum. Of course, we do know that they still have former Atlanta Hawk Al Horford on that team. And I do believe that I think he's going to be leaving the team, or he's looking to be a free agent this offseason, so he could possibly be leaving as well. But adding to all of that, they still have a lot of people that they have to potentially pay. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, I mentioned that, Sam Hauser. Those are the guys that have added to the Boston Celtics and that they've acquired over time. But now that they've, I guess, churned out a good performance or have worked very well for that team, unfortunately, they didn't get back to the NBA Finals. But those are a lot of guys that they need to pay. So it would almost make sense for the Boston Celtics to look into possibly dealing away somebody like a Derek White or Jaylen Brown. Now, again, I brought it up and I say it again. Could Jaylen Brown be returning home? And I mean, that's up to you guys whether or not you feel as though he is somebody that could potentially be good for the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think so, because again, for what we would have to give up for him, he's too expensive. Jaylen Brown is way too expensive. And I mean that in the sense that the Boston Celtics are going to want something in return for Jaylen Brown. They would want something in return for Derek White as well. So I want, and again, this is just a rumor. This is not something that is set in stone, but I'm bringing it to you guys' attention because these are certain things that are happening around the league. Of course, you know that the Boston Celtics are looking to offload some money, offload some potential players that, are due a certain amount of money. So it would make sense that the Atlanta Hawks would possibly be entertaining something, because we could get Al Horford back. No, I'm not saying that he would be somebody that would be a superstar all over again, because he's towards the tail end of his career. But he'd be a veteran presence, somebody that could show them how to win a championship, be that he actually got to one. Unfortunately, it wasn't during the time that he was with the Hawks, but he did get one. Also, too, you can look at different players like Kristaps Porzingis. You can look at different players on the Celtics teams that can help the Atlanta Hawks. If the Celtics are interested in offloading some of the players, again, you see that they didn't mention Kristaps Porzingis or Jason Tatum or guys like that. They didn't mention those guys. They only mentioned Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Now, to that point, I say that he's too expensive is because what the Atlanta Hawks would have to possibly offer up to get him. Jaylen Brown is a win-now player. If you were to trade for Jaylen Brown, and let's just put on our GM hats for right now. Whatever team you like or whatever team you want. Of course, I like the Hawks, so we're going to play GM. In order to get Jaylen Brown, or when you get Jaylen Brown on your team, you are expected to not only get to the playoffs, but have a deep run in the playoffs and possibly get to a NBA Finals. Jaylen Brown is a number 2 scorer. He is somebody that, alongside Trae Young, is going to make up a good amount of the bulk of points on this team. So Jaylen Brown would be a win-now guy. You wouldn't have any time to figure things out, get certain guys in place, wait for some other people to become available via trade or free agency or draft. You couldn't do that. You have to win now. And I feel as though the Atlanta Hawks will be giving up way too much in order to get Jaylen Brown. They feel it. There have been, like Jalen Johnson, Zaccharie Risacher, Dyson Daniels, Onyeka Okongwu, those core guys are what some of the other teams want in order to, you know what I mean? Like, in order for us to get Jaylen Brown, it would almost seem as if we would have to give away one of those assets and a pick in order to, I guess, to justify this trade. So again, another trade that has come across my table that does seem somewhat interesting, be that this is off of another team's, I guess, inability to pay everybody. And I don't think everybody, every team has a deep pocket like that to pay a bunch of superstar money, because then you get into a whole nother issue there. But with the Boston Celtics coming upon the situation that they're dealing with, you have a lot of good players. Not everybody's a superstar, but you got a lot of good players that deserve a certain amount of money, that deserve a payout. And unfortunately, the Celtics aren't in that position. So it is a good situation for the Hawks, and I think the Hawks should look for more situations around the league. As you can see, just recently, Desmond Bane was traded away from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Orlando Magic. So, of course, Atlanta, you already know, inside of our division, the teams in our division are working to get better. So it would behoove the Atlanta Hawks to look for more situations like this. Look for more teams that are looking to offload some of their strong players, some of their players that are major bucket getters. We need to look for some situations like that. And maybe, just maybe, we could possibly add some more to our team, and we can, get to a better situation, a better position, get into the playoffs, not play in tournament, get into an Eastern Conference Finals, not a first round exit, get into the NBA Finals so that we can get a championship. My name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest, and I'm signing out. Peace.